Hello, YouTube people. Excuse me. I am making this video because I believe it's possible I found an answer to my question about why Congress has all of a sudden decided that there's going to be a biological terrorist attack. Maybe it's just a false connection I'm making. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. I don't want to be an alarmist, but I just want to tell you what the fuck's going on. This is some shit that I'm very disappointed in myself for not knowing about until today. Though it is very recent. I wish I had known about it when it happened. I'm also concerned slightly that I didn't hear about it on any national stations, and I didn't hear about it on NPR, National Public Radio, for those of you who are not in the know. But, you know, to be fair, it's possible that I missed it. It's this bit of information, and I will link you to the Washington Post article that I'm reading from, or at least I'm going to read the main point from. It's that the U.S. military expects to have 20,000 uniformed troops inside the United States by 2011, trained to help state and local officials respond to a nuclear terrorist attack or other domestic catastrophe, according to Pentagon officials. This has apparently been a long-planned thing, which makes me even more disappointed in myself for not having heard about it. But it's just been recently backed with funding is the issue. These 20,000 troops would be under the control, or they would be working with Homeland Security, supposedly. Now, why is this a problem? Well, it's a problem for several reasons. The two most important reasons is that it is a violation of a federal law, and I really hope I'm not pronouncing this wrong. But it's in the article. It's in the third paragraph, so you'll see it. The Posse Comitatus, something along those lines. Act. It's a federal law from, I want to say, 1878. It restricts the military's use or role in domestic law enforcement, except under very specific conditions, such as when martial law is declared or something along those lines, which it is fully, within the federal government's right to use troops, though they should and usually are a last resort. That's why we have National Guard. But this law was put into place in response mainly to some of the shit that happened in the South during Reconstruction after the Civil War, where for a good long period of time the South was a police state controlled by the Union military, and with good reason. But the problem was that there was no control over the military, and though this was a legitimate reason to have the military presence, they just wanted to make sure, knowing what could happen with military acting as police over civilians, that could not happen except in extremely dire situations. So this is a violation of this law. It's also a violation of the Constitution. The other problem I have with this is that I don't see the justification. It's been, 7 years since 9/11, and they're just all of a sudden deciding that they need 20,000 uniformed troops and plan to have even more later. They need these troops for Homeland Security purposes. I don't see the basis in reality. There has been no further terrorist attacks inside the United States, unless you count the anthrax that was sent to a couple of people, which it's quite possible that originated from an American citizen. There has been no terrorist attacks in the United States since September 11th, because we did increase our security so much. So I really would like to know why the federal government feels it needs 20,000 troops deployed around the country. What is it that these 20,000 federal troops can do that the National Guard cannot? Once the National Guard is pulled back from Iraq, where many of our National Guard troops are based right now, which is fucking bullshit. The National Guard isn't supposed to be going there. But regardless, what is it that they feel the federal troops can do that the National Guard can't? That's why I'm concerned about this. Why does the federal government feel it needs to have its own army in place for a domestic emergency? I read the comments on this article, and a lot of them were either, you know, this is the beginning of the nigger socialists overthrowing the United States, beginning of the rule by our nigger overlord, blah, 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 that kind of shit. And the other ones were, 9/11 was an inside job. This is obviously part of the Zionist worldwide Illuminati conspiracy in league with the reptilians to control our minds and shit like that. But there were some valid points in there. And I think the best one was when somebody simply asked, what is it that having troops on the ground would have done during 9/11? I thought that's a perfect point. What is it that these troops are needed for? What is it that they're gonna fucking do? That's the answer. That's the question that needs to be answered if they want me to buy this shit. And it's a big question, especially considering they're breaking laws to do this. And I just don't think they can come up with any reasonable justification for doing this. It's of great concern to me. I recommend anybody watching this that is of voting age to send a letter to your congressman or your representative, and of course anybody else who isn't of voting age too, but it's most important that the voters do it. Anybody that's not of voting age, you got some parents, don't show them this video, because they're not going to fucking listen to me. I'm a fat 19-year-old kid that's swearing all the time, and I don't blame them. But show them this article once you read it, and see what they think. It's important that we have some dialogue here. Dialogue is what we've been missing. We've come under this delusion that the government is not us and we are not the government, and the thing is that we are. We elect all of these people. It is their job to work for us. And it should be that if there is an overwhelming outcry against moves like this, that they should be suspended. I am not going to get overly concerned about this, or at least not irrationally concerned, though I am concerned, until I see something along the lines of them ignoring us. That's when you have problems. As long as people in government still fear losing their jobs, we're fine. So I urge you to contact your representative or your congressman, and I believe there is a website somewhere that like automatically finds your congressman or some shit for you, I think, and it has their email and shit. If I find that, I'll put that in the link. But I don't know. This is disturbing turn of events. I don't like it. What I'm about to delve into is very much guesswork, and it's not to be taken seriously as an actual reason for them doing this. But it seems possible to me in some small way that the government realizes, just as much as I do and some other people, that the economy is not sustainable, it is not recoverable, and we have screwed ourselves into a situation where our money is continually losing value. The nature of our economic system means it loses value, and it's possible that the government has implemented this law, this plan, as a fail-safe in case we were to become rather upset with any situation that might arise. And I think it is possible that as the economy deteriorates, or as the economy does not get better, because it's not going to get better. If it's not going to completely deteriorate, it's certainly not going to get better. That we're going to see more and more things like this. That's a possibility. Now, if we continue to see things like this, that's when you have to have the major concern. I don't think that the situation is beyond our control. So we need to voice our opinions while we still have the capacity to. So I'm going to try to find that website. If I can't, I'm sure you can find out how to email your congressman yourself. I'd like to make it easy for you. And I will put the link to this article in the left-hand side. So, yeah, that's it. This is Chris. See ya.